Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to It's Storytime Kids, where amazing adventures are just a listen away. I'm your storyteller, and oh boy, do I have a special tale for you today.
Are you ready? Get comfy, grab your favorite stuffy, and let's dive into today's story. The Silk Weavers and the Cotton Spinners. And hey, if you want to see beautiful illustrations of this story, ask your grown-ups to visit www.onceuponastorytime.in. That's www.onceuponastorytime.in. Now, let's begin. In the bustling city of Chennai, on a street called Agraharam, there stood a large workshop filled with the most wonderful sounds. Click-clack, click-clack went the looms. Whir, whir, whir sang the spinning wheels. But there was one sound that wasn't so wonderful. Your cotton fluff is ruining my silk. That was Kumar uncle, shouting at the top of his lungs. He held up a beautiful blue silk thread, once smooth and shiny, now covered in fuzzy white cotton bits. Well, your dye water splashed all over my cotton. And that was Raman uncle, yelling right back. He pointed at his precious white cotton balls, now spotted with bright purple dye, like a Dalmatian dog. Poor little Kavya pressed her hands over her ears. Every single morning started exactly the same way in the workshop. You see, her father and the other silk weavers worked from sunrise until lunchtime, creating the most gorgeous saris. Then, when the sun was high in the sky, the cotton spinners would arrive and work until the stars came out. Why do they always fight, Pati? Kavya asked her grandmother, who sat nearby sorting threads. Pati let out a long, tired sigh and pushed her round spectacles up her nose. Been this way for 20 years, little one. Like cats and dogs they are, always hissing and barking at each other. The next morning at school, Kavya's teacher, Mrs. Lakshmi, clapped her hands together. Class, today you'd pick partners for a very special project about the jobs people do in our community. Kavya looked around the classroom hopefully. But oh no! Her best friend Priya was home with a cold. The only person left without a partner was Arjun, Mrs. Lakshmi announced cheerfully. You and Kavya will work together. Kavya's heart sank like a stone in water. Arjun's family were cotton spinners, the enemy. And judging by the frown on Arjun's face, he wasn't happy either. My grandfather says silk weavers are messy and careless, Arjun whispered, crossing his arms. Well, my father says cotton spinners are sloppy and disorganized, Kavya whispered back, sticking out her chin. Mrs. Lakshmi's eyes twinkled. Perfect, you can study both crafts at the workshop. Won't that be interesting? That afternoon, two very reluctant children stood outside the workshop, clutching their notebooks and pencils like shields. Let's just watch and write things down, Arjun suggested quietly, like scientists do. No talking to each other unless we have to. Fine by me, Kavya agreed, her nose in the air. They stepped inside and immediately the familiar chaos surrounded them. Kavya's father was working on a stunning red sari, his fingers dancing over the loom like a pianist playing music. But every few minutes, he'd stop and look around frantically. Chashla, where's my shuttle? Where did I put it? He muttered, searching under threads and behind boxes. These cotton spinners always move our things. Arjun scribbled in his notebook. 3 p.m. Silk weaver lost important tool called shuttle, searched for 10 whole minutes, work stopped. When the clock struck 3:30 and the cotton spinners arrived, more problems bubbled up like boiling milk. Arjun's grandfather needed clean water to soak his cotton, but those silk people used all the bowls for their dyes, he complained loudly. Not a single clean one left. This time, Kavya wrote, 3:30 p.m. No clean water bowls available. Cotton work delayed by 15 minutes. For 3 whole days, the children watched like little detectives, filling their notebooks with observations. Tools mixed up everywhere. Nobody can find anything. No labels on any boxes. Same brushes used for silk and cotton. Causes problems. Time wasted arguing. 30 minutes every single day. On the third evening, as they walked home, something strange happened. The two children actually started talking. Look at this, Arjun said, showing his list. Both groups use the exact same tools, but fight over them constantly. And they both lose money when work stops, Kavya added, her pencil scratching numbers on paper. By my calculations, that's 200 rupees lost every day. In a month, that's 6,000 rupees. They looked at each other, eyes wide. Maybe they weren't so different after all. On Thursday morning, everything changed. The workshop door burst open and in walked Mrs. Gomati, the owner of the biggest, fanciest sari shop in all of Chennai. Her silk sari shimmered like a peacock's feather, and her jewelry clinked softly as she moved. I need 50 half-silk saris, she announced in a voice that meant business. You know, the special ones with silk threads mixed with cotton. My customers from Mumbai and Delhi are crazy about them. Can you deliver in 2 weeks? The workshop fell silent. You could have heard a pin drop. Half-silk saris. That meant the silk weavers and cotton spinners would have to work together. Impossible, Kumar uncle said, shaking his head. We don't work with them, Raman uncle added firmly. Mrs. Gomati's face turned stern. Then I'll take my business to Bangalore. They know how to cooperate there. Wait. Two small voices rang out together. Kavya and Arjun stepped forward, their hearts beating like tabla drums. We can help, Arjun said, trying to sound braver than he felt. We've been studying the workshop for a school project, Kavya added quickly. The adults laughed. Not mean laughter, but the kind that said, oh, these sweet, naive children. But Mrs. Gomti raised one perfectly shaped eyebrow. Show me what you've learned? Kavya opened her notebook with trembling fingers. Both groups waste 1 full hour every day just searching for tools. If we organize everything properly, you save that time. Arjun pulled out a colorful drawing. Look, we designed a system. Green boxes for tools, everyone shares. Blue boxes only for silk work. White boxes only for cotton work. Everything labeled with words and pictures. Plus a simple schedule. Kavya continued, gaining confidence. Morning shift cleans the work tables before leaving. Evening shift sweeps the floors. No more fights about who makes the mess. The adults looked at each other skeptically. But Mrs. Gomati, she was nodding slowly. I'll give you 1 week, she declared. If this system works and I get my saris, you have a deal. If not, she didn't need to finish. Everyone knew what if not meant. That very evening, our two young heroes got to work. They labeled boxes with bright colored paper. They drew pictures of shuttles, spindles, brushes, and bowls. They made a giant chart showing exactly where everything belonged, hanging it where everyone could see. The first day was rough, very rough. Why should I put the shuttle in a green box? Grumbled Kumar uncle. I've been putting it wherever I want for 30 years. Because then I can actually find it when I need it, replied Raman uncle. Then he stopped, surprised to hear himself agreeing with a silk weaver. But slowly, something magical began to happen. By day 3, nobody was searching for tools anymore. The workshop hummed with productivity instead of arguments. By day 5,
something even more amazing occurred.
10 saris already, Kavya's father announced, his voice full of wonder. That's twice as fast as usual.
The cotton is spinning smoother too, admitted Arjun's grandfather. When we are not wasting time arguing, we can focus on quality. By the end of the week, 25 beautiful half-silk saris hung ready for inspection. The silk threads caught the light like captured rainbows, while the soft cotton made the fabric feel like clouds. They were absolutely stunning.
Brilliant! Mrs. Gomati exclaimed when she saw them. The best half-silk saris I've ever seen. I'll order 100 more. The workshop erupted in cheers. Kumar uncle actually shook hands with Raman uncle, the first time in 20 years.
Grandmother Pati wiped happy tears from her eyes.
Those children are smarter than us old fools, she laughed. At school the next week, Kavya and Arjun stood in front of their class, presenting their project with enormous pride. They showed photographs of the newly organized workshop and charts proving how productivity had doubled.
"What did you learn from this project?" asked Mrs. Lakshmi, though her smile showed she already knew. Kavya looked at Arjun, and they both grinned. "We learned that fighting wastes time and money. Working together makes everything better, even if you think you're different." "And we learned," Arjun added with a sparkle in his eye, "that sometimes kids can solve problems that adults make way too complicated." Today, if you visit the workshop on Agraharam Street, you'll still find both silk weavers and cotton spinners. But instead of angry shouts, you'll hear helpful calls. Silk shuttle ready in green box 3. Fresh cotton loaded in white box 5. Beautiful blue dye prepared in station 2. And every single half-silk sari they create reminds them of an important lesson. The best solutions come from working together. And sometimes, the youngest voices have the wisest ideas. And that, my dear friends, is the story of how two clever children turned enemies into partners, and a divided workshop into a happy, productive family. Remember, just like Kavya and Arjun discovered, when we stop fighting and start cooperating, amazing things can happen. Whether you're working on a school project, playing with friends, or helping at home, teamwork always makes the dream work. This wonderful story has been brought to you by Once Upon a Storytime. If you loved hearing about Kavya and Arjun's adventure, hop over to www.onceuponastorytime.in to see the beautiful illustrations and discover many more amazing stories. Until next time, keep reading, keep dreaming, and keep working together. This is It's Storytime Kids saying, see you in the next adventure.